there, and welcome to another spooky episode of An Anthropologist Watches Amberlynn Reid. Woo, retro react. Ah. I'm actually going over the whole Abby Sharp Amberlynn Reid thing. I said I was going to do it in two parts. The first part was going over Abby's original video about Amberlynn, where we were told that Amber eats very healthily, her portion sizes are way too small, and she should actually incorporate more food into her diet. Where Abby basically just cherry-picked Amber's... Abby basically cherry-picked the videos for Amber's What I Eat in a Days to come up with the most healthy-looking What I Eat in a Days, and then also addressed Amber's mukbangs, claiming that Amber's mukbangs are actually the most healthiest mukbangs she's ever seen, and shows that Amber's portions are probably too small, which is why she binges. The whole time really writing Amber about her cancer, because this is after Amber's had the cancer diagnosis and had the hysterectomy. There we go. Before we go any further, if anybody wants to get into my comment section and try to do the whole like Amber didn't really have cancer, because I've already had one person do that, don't. Just save yourself the time. I'm not going to tolerate it. So there's that. Before we get into this too far, I am an anthropologist by training and an archaeologist, retired. Those are my creds. I am not a dietitian, nor do I want to be, apparently. So there's that. And, I want to say thank you to all of my supporters. I'd like to say thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You people rock. And thank you to everybody who's going to give the video a thumbs up. Bum, bum. So this is Amber's reaction to Abby. Amber decided to react to this. I think this was part of her like 100 days of trying. So this is Amber's reaction to Abby's video. Now this video is 2 years old and it only has 3.7K likes. Interesting. But it does have like 331K views. Is that good or bad? I don't know, guys. I'm terrible with numbers. Anyway, I would expect the thumbs ups to be higher just out of like accumulation. That's the only reason why I'm kind of surprised by it. This video is basically an hour and a half long. We will not be watching the whole thing. There's only a few things that Amber reacts to that I really want to have in this video, because my goal is to have Amber reacting to Abby, and then I want to have I want to watch Abby's rebuttal to Amber watching her, because I think it's important. It's important for what we're doing here. Is it important in the grand scheme of the world? No. Is it important for entertainment purposes? Yes. Is it important for my overall analysis of Amber as an individual on the internet? Yes. And my argument that Abby is full of shit? Yes. Going into this, you need to know I am not an Abby Sharp fan. I used to watch Abby quite a bit. I thought I liked her, and then she really bought into the whole fat acceptance, health at every size BS, and it just completely turned me off to her, and I really started getting critical about what Abby had to say about certain things like sugar, and it really just kind of opened my eyes to the fact that Abby herself is very svelte, very thin, very healthy, and yet she's out here telling people like Amber that she needs to eat more. So, and it's not even like, yes, she does say Amber should eat more protein, but in general, she does say Amber's portion sizes are very small. She was eating 2 entire cups of cooked pasta. That is not a small serving. Anyway, we're going to get into that. So yeah, we're going to do a lot of skipping. Amber is sped up to time and quarter. Just always assume that she is if I forget to mention it one time. And do I need to say anything else? Did I thank my audience? If I forgot to thank my audience, thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I think I did already. Never mind. I don't need to do that part. Let's do this.
Hey guys, so I have been told by several people to react to this video. I'm not a reaction channel, so that's why it looks like this. It is bad quality, etc., etc. But this video isn't really about, you know, my face or anything like that. It does look kind of pixelated, I feel like, but
Okay. Before we get into this, Amber, the reason why people say that your reaction videos are bad quality isn't because you look like poop. It's because you're a boomer and you're filming your laptop with your camera as opposed to using something like OBS, which, trust me, is a pain in the ass, but does the side-by-side thing or the picture-in-picture. That's why people don't like your reactions. But, you know, it's Amber. We're so used to it at this point.
it's more so about what does Abby Sharp have to say. I've actually never watched any of her videos before.
Thank God.
I really want to give this a chance. I get nervous, you know, reacting to people when it comes to me because they're very biased based on opinions they've heard about me and such. So I'm a little nervous going into this. It's titled Dietitian's Thoughts on Amberlynn Reid's Diet and Mukbangs. This might be hard to watch.
She's right. People do come into... Not everyone. A lot of people find Amber through reaction channels, and so they stumble onto... They don't stumble. They find Amber after they've already formed an opinion of Amber or after they've already heard someone else's opinion of Amber. So she is correct there. And I do think sometimes people don't give her a fair shake. But you don't have to watch Amber for very long to really figure out what she's about. Does Abby have a clue who Amber was? I don't think so. Not judging from Abby's video. I think Abby just saw that Amber had like a bajillion views and a bajillion subscribers, and she just wanted to piggyback on that. And so she made a video about Amber. I honest to God think that's the only reason Abby made a video, was to get views.
I'm going to be honest right here about mukbangs. I feel like they're just so easy to do because it's like, I'm going to be eating the food anyway. I can sit down, you know, make my video, which is my job, get my income. I can just, you know, enjoy my meal with you guys. So it's like, mukbangs are just so easy to do, and I think that's why I got caught up in it for so long, and I still really do like mukbangs. Ooh, that's just me being honest. Quick to point.
I have always said that Amber wants to be a mukbang channel. Like, Amber wants to be a mukbanger, and the negative feedback that she gets from it is, I think, the main reason she stopped doing it, but they are her most popular videos. So I think if Amber could figure out a way to go back to the mukbangs and still maintain her channel, I think she would.
Many of Amberlynn's viewers have repeatedly expressed concern about her size and the implications that this may have on her health and well-being. Now, I can understand this concern, as we do know that obesity, specifically higher amounts of body fat, may put one at a greater risk of a number of chronic diseases, including cancer. Unfortunately, Amberlynn did recently share that she was diagnosed with stage 1.
First off, the buzzing noise is coming from Amber's video. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. Secondly, this was such a shit move on Abby's part, was to constantly bring up the cancer. This isn't too long after Amber had the whole thing taken care of. Okay. I think she's still recovering at this point. I could be wrong. This is 2 years old. I don't exactly remember. But in Abby's original video, which is 2 hours, no, it's an hour and some minutes long. She just railroads the freaking cancer like there's something that could have... She just hits that cancer button over and over and over and over, and it's just, we get it. Okay, it's like if Amber were to change her diet to the way Abby wanted her to be eating right now, somehow that would magically regrow Amber's uterus and magically make her never have had cancer. And it just comes off so insensitive and so arrogant. I think there's a better word, but arrogant is the only thing that's popping into my head. It really makes the video hard to watch in general. And that's before I started having actual criticisms about the crap Abby had to say. Not a dietitian, by the way. Just somebody who has a brain that functions.
Endometrial cancer, which is a cancer in the lining of the uterus. Now, I will say that there are a number of risk factors for endometrial cancers, including age, genetics, and use of certain forms of contraceptives. But research...
Every time I hear this part, it just continuously pisses me off. Yes, Abby, we get it. You refuse to associate anything with excessive weight. Even skinny people can get endometrial cancer. Yeah, I know. Thanks. That's Amber will tell you straight up. And she says so in this video. That's not what happened with her. Also, y'all need to back off of birth control, all right? I'm really sick and tired of people being anti-birth control because reasons. I get that there is a small portion of the population that has a bad reaction to birth control, but overall, birth control has been a godsend to women in general, and I will fight you if you come after birth control in my comment section. And I fucking hate the fact that Abby's on here like, oh yeah, birth control totally caused cancer. Woman, I will come through this screen for you. Someday someone's going to hold me to that, and I'm going to be like, look, I can't do that. I'm not a digital person.
Research does suggest that obese and overweight women with higher amounts of body fat are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop endometrial cancer, and extremely obese women are about 7 times more likely. One explanation for this.
Yes, it's like, I know it's my fault, and it's hard because it's like I could have prevented this, and it's sad to note that food completely has ruined my life, and it's scary and it's dangerous, and the feeling of it is unbelievably overwhelming, and I regret so much. I really truly do. And it's just it is hard. It is so hard to have this food addiction and this binge disorder. It's just so hard, and it gave me cancer. Like, that's crazy.
I wanted to leave the whole thing in there because yes, Amber is upset about it. The cancer upset Amber in her normal life. And I know Abby didn't realize that this was going to be the effect that the video was going to have on Amber. But after having this big preamble about how she's going to be non-judgmental and we're only doing this for educational purposes and we should go forward and be nice, to then sit here and fucking rail on this is so insensitive of her. But it's Abby. She just wants clicks. I don't have a high opinion of Abby. I'm sorry. If you do, this isn't your video. There's more of this I want to show.
So I do want to...
I got a full hysterectomy, so they removed... So crazy. Oh my god. To think that food made it to where I can't even have a child. I didn't know she was gonna bring out my cancer. I didn't. Like, it's okay, obviously, but like, they removed uterus, tubes, ovaries, all of it. So,
of course, for now, I do want to take a brief look at what Amberlynn's typical day of eating might look like at the time of filming this video, which, by the way, is subject to change by the time that it's live. Let's start with her breakfast, and a quick trigger warning. I'm going to be giving some suggestions on how to help optimize satiety for Amberlynn's weight loss goals. So if this is triggering for you, of course, feel free to skip this section of this video.
God forbid good nutritional information would be triggering to you. I'm sorry. Also, this is not good nutritional information. I'm sorry. Going forward, I'm pausing here because we're getting ready to see Abby talk about the smoothie breakfast that Amber makes. And I want to listen to Amber's reaction to it because it's important.
So for breakfast on day 1, we've got a smoothie with Greek yogurt, some frozen berry.
oh my god, when did she film this? Because I was living in my old home. That's so weird to see this. But
this video, what the hell happened? This video is so old. This video of Amber making the smoothie is so old. Even Amber comments on how old it is. Even Amber's like, oh my god, where did she find this video? So I like this particular clip because it really does show how hard Abby cherry picked to make her video. She dug deep to find this smoothie video. Seriously, she dug so far back. Even Amber goes, holy crap, this is an old video. Okay. I just wanted to leave this in here because, like, I know there were some people who were against the idea that Abby cherry picked and that she had to dig really deep for him. even Amber's going, how far back did you go? Anyway.
With lower risk of endometrial cancer. So just something to really keep in mind.
I appreciate her. I do. Don't get me wrong. But I hate that she keeps bringing up my cancer. I understand, like, this is all within a good heart. I can tell that she's a good person, to be honest. And I can tell that she really likes to help people. But as sad as this is, I'm very out of sight, out of mind. And that probably is 100% the reason why I am the way I am. The reason why I'm as big as I am is because I'm very out of sight, out of mind. And I hate thinking about the fact that I had cancer, and I hope that I don't anymore. So it's like, I try to never think about it. And the fact that she keeps bringing it up, it's like, it almost feels like every time she talks about it, I'm like being smacked in the face. And I guess I kind of deserve it.
Okay. That part was important too, because it just kind of drives home what I was saying about Abby and like the cancer thing. Like, why, Abby? Why did you think it was appropriate to do that in the first place? Why? And secondly, first, when Amber admitted it, she was like, yeah, I get it. I did this to myself. And now we're here and she goes, I get that she's a nice person, but I feel like she's slapping me in the face every time she brings it up. Kind of because she was. I mean, that's kind of how Abby was kind of presenting it. And I don't even have the cancer. Like, I didn't even go through this. And I felt like Abby was just being relentless with it. And I also don't think Abby's like qualified to talk about that kind of stuff. I know she's a dietitian, but I don't really feel like as a dietitian, she's truly qualified to speak about cancer and cancer prevention. I could be wrong, but then I will fall back on, I don't think Abby is qualified to talk about this shit. Anyway, the other part of this clip that was really important was Amber's whole out of sight, out of mind mentality and admitting to that. And it does kind of explain a lot of Amber's behavior and a lot of Amber's like the weird stuff she does when it comes to her health. And then also the important thing to kind of clock here is the whole like, I hope I don't still have cancer. Again, this was 2 years ago. People are still on her case about the fact that she never went to any of her follow-up appointments to see if she still had cancer or not. Or at least she does not appear to have ever gone to any of her follow-up appointments to make sure if she was clear or not.
On what we're seeing in these 2020 What I Did Day videos, her portion sizes are not particularly big. In fact, at times, they might just not be big enough. And that can set you up for a binge really quick.
But I feel like when she says that, it's not like she's saying, oh my God, you should have had more pasta. I feel like as a whole, when I'm trying to lose weight, I need more vegetables and I guess more protein, because those things are going to fill me up longer.
Again, the humming noise is coming from Amber's video. I have to give Amber props for not misinterpreting what Abby just said. Because Abby really did just say that your portion sizes were too small. Yes, Abby said earlier that, you know, she'd like to see the proportions of protein to vegetable to starch changed more so that there was more vegetables and less, I don't know. Who knows with Abby? But what she really did say was that the portion size was too small. Okay. So 2 cups of cooked pasta, too little. Check. I'm glad Amber didn't internalize that one too much, which just kind of shows me how much Amber truly is aware of how crappily she actually eats. So, but I think just watching Amber throughout the years, we know Amber knows she's eating bad. I just don't think Amber cares. So, I think it is interesting that she mentioned... It's not interesting. It's not like we didn't know that these videos were filmed before she had the cancer, before she even got diagnosed. I just think it's interesting that Amber wants to point that out.
But we do have some generally balanced meals to work with.
I'm learning.
There is, of course, some room to optimize the nutrition in some of Amberlynn's meals, particularly to ensure that she is satiated and then not setting herself up for a binge with inadequate calories at meal times.
So Abby is saying that Amber's meals are, for the most part, balanced. Abby, no, They're not. You cherry picked these. So of course they look like they are. I'm surprised she left in the meal where Amber ate cereal and a bunch of garbage for dinner. Okay. I'm really kind of surprised she left that one in there because it's the only meal that actually reflects more what is realistic for Amber, especially way back in the day, Amber. Okay. Tell me you didn't do any research into Amberlynn Reid without telling me you didn't do any research into Amberlynn Reid, Abby.
I feel like I need to film another binge, so just you guys could see like me binging.
Definition of a binge.
But like I've said before, this is not me binging. I literally sit down with a normal meal that I would eat. If you guys, I feel like I need to film another binge, so just you guys could see like education based and also like see kind of what I deal with. I need to film one of those so you guys can see like the difference, because it's,
which means that video's out there and Abby chose not to use it. Like if Abby really is wanting to use Amber as an example of someone who has BED in an educational way, why didn't she look at Amber's binge video? It just further proves that Abby just chose what she wanted to make Amber look the best, because Abby refuses to be critical of people who are overweight because she's so ingrained in fat acceptance and haze that to go after someone like Amber, who's, God, she was pushing 600 here, wasn't she? Like, to go after someone like Amber and claim that Amber is not healthy because she is obese goes against everything FA and Hayes stands for, and Abby won't do that because that's Abby's bread and butter now.
Processed fast foods, we're also seeing a lot of less typically bingeable and more balanced meals like veggie stir fry, tuna and celery with rice cakes, veggie burgers, or some meatloafs or with some mac and cheese.
yes.
And these meals are often...
Hey, Abby, where's the shrimp ring? Where's the entire baked chicken? Where's the sausage and potato, the infamous sausage and potato mukbang? Where's the entire box of Captain Crunch cereal mukbang? Okay. Here, everybody, look at these atypical meals that Amber eats. Isn't she healthy? It's a mystery why she's 600 pounds, you guys.
often even accompanied by a side of veggies or sliced fruit.
And I was still getting hate, you guys. One time I ate cherries
I don't remember
as
that
a
one.
mukbang, and I probably had maybe, God, I can't even remember. It's been a hot minute. 8 or 10 cherries, just like fresh cherries from the produce aisle. Hate, all over the place.
Amber is eating up Abby's praise of her eating habits. Yes, Amber's like, oh, I'm learning some things. But for the most part, all Abby's had to say is positive things about Amber's eating. And Amber is eating it up. She's like, see, haters, the dietitian thinks I eat well. See, even my mukbangs are healthy. Why are you guys hating on me? Abby is feeding the monster. Okay? Whether Abby understands that or not. Again, I really think the only reason Abby did this was to just get clicks, because Amber's clickable. And Amber watches this and sees this person who's supposed to be an authority on diet and nutrition sitting here going, oh no, you guys, these are totally, this is exactly how she normally eats every day, every meal. It's a mystery why she's so overweight. You know why she's overweight? Because you people are mean to her. That's why she's overweight. She actually says that later on. Anyway.
Let's be real, doesn't really satisfy a viewer's desire to live vicariously through a healthier than most YouTubers.
Able to do 10,000 calorie challenges. I could.
Dare I say, YouTubers' epic cheat meal. So Amberlynn's mukbangs are, dare I say, healthier than most YouTubers all in 10,000 calorie challenges?
Yes.
If you come,
But why is it okay for people to do 10,000 calorie challenges? I could never. Oh my God. Ugh. I eat an apple on camera and people freak out.
Girl, we have clocked you eating like that. So anyway, keep going.
comment sections of her mukbangs compared to many others, like, let's say, Always Hungry, Amberlynn
Who's that?
bears the brunt of the disgust and hate.
Yeah, that's the point. Who's that? Always Hungry. I had to dig for this stuff, and someone mentioned it in my comments on the first video. Always Hungry is a fitness channel. She does fitness challenges and I guess some other fitness related material. She might even be a coach. My point is, Always Hungry is very, very, very active. And when they're doing these 10,000 calorie challenges, it's a cheat day for them. Cheat day. So this isn't how that person eats all the time. We're comparing apples to pineapples. They both have the word apple in them.
Let's just look at one of the most popular comments on Amberlynn's mukbang versus one from lifestyle YouTuber Always Hungry.
Now, here's another part that I really get irritated about because, you know, Abby's praising Amber's mukbangs, even after saying she doesn't like mukbangs. She's praising Amber's mukbangs as being healthy and being acceptable and being under 10,000 calories because we know every mukbang is only 10,000 calories, you guys. Whatever. Now she's going to compare the comments from Amber's videos to the comments from Always Hungry's videos. These are not the same things, is what I'm getting ready to say here. The comments from Always Hungry are very new, and the comments from Amber's videos are very old. So she's, again, apples to pineapples. And of course, these are cherry picked. These are not in order. And you can tell they're not in order by how they're being presented in this picture here. But if you don't sit there and like stare at this and put two and two together, if you just take this blindly as Abby's presenting it as a apples to apples comparison, like each one of these is 1 for 1, you know, then you're going to think that these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comments for Amber and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 comments for Always Hungry, you're going to think these are 1 for 1. Like all 6 of those comments came from the exact same video and they're all, that's how they were. God damn it. And they're chronological. They're not, you can tell. Same thing with Always Hungry's comments. Those have been cherry picked as well. I'm saying that these are not a fair comparison. This is a cherry-picked comparison to make Always Hungry look bad and Amber look good. And Amber, being Amber, takes this at face value and uses this as a way to bolster the fact that she believes she only gets bullied because she's fat. And Abby basically backs that up.
Oh, wow.
Both of these people.
So I wanted to read you guys the comments because I didn't in the original reaction because I guess I was too shocked. So the comments on mine are, I don't like eating with my fingers. Girl.
3 months, 7 months. Most of those are from 7 months ago. 3 months. The one underneath 3 months, I believe, is 2 months. They're not even from the same time periods. They've obviously been cut and pasted. I mean, and then you look at Always Hungry's comments 1 week ago, 1 week ago, 1 week ago. Just looking at the thumbs up, because you can't see the thumb down anymore. The first comment has 1.2K thumbs ups. The first comment on Always Hungry's has 1, which means people aren't even reacting to this video yet. Okay? It's just ridiculous. This is not a fair comparison, and Abby should know better, or whoever put this together for Abby, which just further shows that this video was basically done biasedly to make Amber look good, because Abby is insistent. Abby hates healthy women. Abby hates healthy women, especially like healthy white women who are within a reasonable weight range. She freaking hates them, constantly calls them out for being having eating disorders and glorifying eating disorders and yada, 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 yada. Abby, did you look in a mirror recently? Okay. Anyway, so it's just, she goes in hard on Always Hungry for nothing really, other than Always Hungry is a fit, healthy, white, skinny woman. And she's championing for Amber, who is morbidly obese. Probably. I was going to say probably class 3 obesity, but I don't even remember what the classes are anymore. TBH.
Get or stay fit. But the primary difference is that Lydia Adams from Always Hungry is
she's
already
pretty.
in a socially desirable body.
A socially desirable body. She's not healthy, you guys. She's just in a socially desirable body. She hasn't done anything to get there. She's just gifted with being in a socially acceptable body. Okay.
And Amberlynn is not. So why does someone's body size influence our perception about whether or not mukbangs are acceptable?
And Amber had never thought of it that way, or maybe she did. But now she has new fuel for her fire. Like Amber does go on about, why do skinny people get to do mukbangs and they don't get hate, but fat people do? But now she's got this whole socially desirable body versus Amber's not socially desirable body. It's just ridiculous. Like, Abby, do you hear yourself?
But it's very clear that the negative public perception of Amberlynn's content is unique because of her size.
It's not unique because of her size. I'm sure if you went to any mukbanger's channel, you will find people saying this is gross, this is disgusting, yada, 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 because it is gross and disgusting. But you will find people saying that in an asshole, in a jerk kind of way. Also, if you find something like with me, I don't like mukbangs. They are gross and disgusting, and I can't stand them. So guess what I don't do? Watch them. Okay? That's my thing. The hate Amber gets isn't unique to Amber, but this is where Abby decides to say that this is where Abby starts to associate Amber's size not with her eating habits, but with the hate Amber gets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing new. Research suggests that society's negative attitudes towards obese people play a significant role in their psychological and their physical health. I get that a lot of people think that trolling an obese person about their weight or offering like aggressive dieting advice might motivate these individuals to adopt healthier behaviors. But statistically, the opposite is true.
So basically what Abby's saying, and I said this in the first video too, basically what Abby's saying is fat people aren't fat because they eat too much and they don't move enough. Fat people are fat because society makes fun of fat people for being fat. So did society just randomly pick Amber out of a lineup of a bunch of different people and go, we want her to become fat? So what we are collectively going to do as a society is just start calling her fat and treating her badly because our negative emotions and negative comments are going to create adipose tissue on her body, and she will inherently become fat because we have willed it into existence. That's ridiculous. Do I think fat people get nasty comments and unsolicited advice from randos? Yes, obviously they do. Is it simply because they are fat? Yes. Is that the reason they are fat? No. Okay? You're not fat because somebody made fun of you for being fat. Okay? And Amber's going to run with this.
Research shows that the experience of weight stigma reduces exercise frequency and increases binge eating, unhealthy weight control behaviors, and binge eating disorder.
I have talked about this before, and I have said before that tough love does not work on me. If you're supportive and you're positive and you're uplifting, that is the type of energy that I thrive on as a person in any sort of way. And every time I sit here and I'm like, okay, I'm a YouTuber. Let's look at the comments. You know, that's important. I get this overwhelming sense to binge. It happens a lot. And I have shared this before, and people always just say, stop blaming us. Stop blaming us. That's just a way to invalidate true psychological damage that you guys are doing to me. And I know a lot of people can also say, get off of YouTube, get off of YouTube. Why are you here then if it bothers you so bad? I feel like we need to focus on taking out the bad vibe people, taking out the bullying, instead of taking out the YouTuber who's literally just doing their job and doing something that they're passionate about.
First off, I don't think you should bully people on the internet at all, because I think it's cowardly for starts. And secondly, it's unnecessary. We don't need you. Thank you. Don't feed the trolls. And that's my second part. It's not our fault. The only person who's binging is you. The only person who's putting the food in your mouth is you. Okay, the comments upset you. You know that. You know it's a trigger. Either don't interact with them because you know it's your trigger, or set up some other coping mechanism to turn to instead of food. I call it outsmarting yourself. You know this thing's a trigger. You have to do it anyway. It's part of your job, as you say. So you have to do it. Instead of making it easy to go eat food, put something else immediately within your eyesight. Like I was going on in the other video. She likes to color. Set out your coloring books and your crayons so they are within eyesight. So when you get done doing your comment section, you turn to that because it's easier to get to than the refrigerator. All right. So no, as someone who is obese, medically obese, I do not buy into this crap. The reports Abby mentioned in this little segment here, the only thing I hear coming off of those is that when fat people feel like they are being criticized by other people, it reduces their activity level and increases the amount of food that they eat. This is a you problem, not a me problem. Okay? If you think that I looked at you funny one day and now you're going to go binge over it, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. You need to do something about that if you care. All right. It's still up in the air if Amber actually cares about losing weight or not. I don't know. Some days I think so. Some days I don't. I'm leaning towards no, she doesn't really want to lose weight. She just wants to wake up skinny one day, which is what most of the people on 600 Pound Life also want. They don't want to do the effort to lose the weight. So they'll use any excuse in the book. The people on TikTok are the same way. Most of those girls on TikTok, they don't want to do the work that they know they have to do to be skinny. So they're going to sit there and try to convince you that they're okay being skinny. And one day, if they just woke up skinny, they'd be perfectly fine with that because they didn't intentionally lose the weight. The weight fairy just came, waved the little magic wand, and they were thin again. But they love to cling to this whole, when you are mean to fat people, that makes fat people fat. No, fat people's lifestyles make them fat. Yeah, I don't not believe that when a fat person or an obese person thinks they're being judged, that they lose their drive to go do the thing that will make them healthy. I do believe that. But that's self-reporting. First off, were you being judged? If you were, why do you care? You don't know these people. Fuck them. Grow up. Anyway, now I'm just ranting. And we probably won't spend the whole time we probably won't watch this entire thing just because, or I won't have the entire thing in the video, because after Abby gets done feeling bad for herself, she goes on to look at Amber's diet again. I do kind of want to look at that real quick because she basically determines that Amber's still eating wonderfully. But then the rest of the video, I don't know if it really works for us. So, all right. First off, the ennui. Oh, poor Abby. She did not know she was hurting someone's feelings. Oh, she feels so bad for herself. Oh, how could she have done something so insensitive? Oh, if only she could somehow rectify the problem. Oh, I will make another video so that you can see how bad I feel about bringing up this person's cancer and then constantly mentioning it every 5 minutes in an hour and a half long video. Wow. You're really convincing me, Abby.
So hard to watch again. Amberlynn started her channel to document her weight loss journey and has dabbled in nearly every diet under the sun since.
No, she hasn't. Stop saying that. Because she hasn't. But go on.
It almost feels like every time she talks about it, I'm like being smacked in the face. And I guess I kind of deserve it.
That's so hard to watch.
Oh my God, Abby. You hurt somebody's feelings by constantly bringing up the most traumatic thing that's happened in their life up to this point. So glibly and constantly pointing out that they could have prevented it. I feel so bad for you. I'm so sorry that you upset yourself. I don't often really champion for Amber because there's really not a whole lot to champion for her about, but Abby's treatment of Amber in that first video was freaking appalling. And I'm sorry, Abby, if you ever watch this, I really hope you did feel like dog poop because you should. I didn't like you going into this, and I really don't like you now. And now you're trying to milk it, much like Amber will do, to make us feel sorry for you because you're such an altruistic, wonderful, nice, kind person who would never do anything like try to profit off of someone else's cancer by making an entire video about how they could have prevented their own cancer if they had just eaten better, and then go on to tell us how wonderfully good Amber eats. Which is it, Abby? Could she have prevented her cancer by eating better, or does she eat okay right now? Pick one, Abby. Pick. It's just... I'm calming down now. I'm not going to sit here and listen to Abby feel bad about herself because she should. Anyway, next.
She's right, to be honest. I'm very all about low calorie, even if it's like not the right type of food for me.
Okay, let's compose ourselves. I'm glad that some of the things I said here were eye-opening to Amberlynn because, you know, it's very common for chronic dieters to always be thinking less is always more.
I'm glad that Amber could see that I was patting her on the ass the entire time I was making this video, other than when I was blaming her for her own cancer, which, I mean, no, bad. Okay, next.
But, you know, this is actually one of the biggest weight loss mistakes that I see people make, as it can contribute to like a very sluggish metabolism, and it tends to create the perfect storm for a binge. Not to mention, you know, chronically undereating is devastating to folks with binge eating tendencies. So this is really like a double whammy for Amberlynn.
Whammy! Why is it okay for people to judge me, make fun of me, aka binge monster, and all these things, and invalidate the fact that, you know, I do have eating disorder, I do have food problems. But then if it's like a skinny person with these problems, people don't ever make fun of them. That's something that I just like, I don't understand. It's not fair. It's very hypocritical.
Yes, this 100%.
Did the two of you not go on the internet ever? I mean, we know Amber's chronically online, but Abby? There are skinny people who get made fun of for their eating habits just as much as there are fat people that get made fun of for theirs, okay? If this whole thing that like skinny shaming isn't real, first off, get out of your own damn world and go touch some grass, because everybody gets picked on no matter what they look like, who they are, or what they do. You exist on the planet, somebody's going to make fun of you for it, okay? It's just, who has gone through their life without being made fun of for something, okay? Secondly, my best friend in high school was about as thick as my wrist the entire time we were in high school, junior high and high school. My point is, in high school, I was very thick as a big girl. I put all my weight on in sixth grade, and I still don't think I've lost any of it. So people would make fun of me for being fat because I was fat, and people would ridicule her for being skinny. I honestly believe my friend got made fun of worse, more often for being skinny than I got made fun of for being fat. And that maybe is just, you know, personal bias, or maybe like, I don't know, I didn't clock every time somebody made fun of me, but because I'm very possessive of my friends, I did notice when they would make fun of her, and it was bullshit. Maybe you need to eat a sandwich. Are you anorexic or something? What's wrong with you? Doesn't your mom feed you? Seriously, you want to sit here? If you want to sit here and tell me that skinny people don't get bullied for being skinny, then we're going to have words. So anyway, Abby clearly doesn't go anywhere on the internet that isn't a safe space for her, where she gets ass pats for being the world's best dietitian, and doesn't realize that there are people on TikTok who are constantly getting ridiculed for being skinny or not fat enough, or, you know, Abby herself going after women who are of a perfectly healthy weight, a perfectly decent, a socially desirable body size. Abby likes to go after those people and tell us how bad they are, how bad they eat. They've got an eating disorder. She'd like to see them eat more. Abby, you're one of the people that picks on the skinny people. All right. So don't sit here and tell me that skinny people don't get picked on when, like, that's half your channel.
Percent this. I mean, one of the most obvious examples of fat phobia is this right here. That, a fat person can be hated on for having an ED, but a skinny person is given support, empathy, and care. Or the example that I gave in my...
No, they're not. I guess I guess at this point, you still don't know who Eugenie Clooney is. Eugenie Cooney is. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. Every skinny person ever, all they get is help and support and love and lifted up by the adoring fans who find their socially acceptable, socially desirable body. Those are the people. Those are the only ones who ever get help in this world. Okay, Abby.
My last video, with the public reactions to mukbangs online. We see like slim, fit, always hungry, will eat 10,000 calories and viewers will cheer her on, but...
So she'll eat 8,000 calories on her day off. And yeah, okay. So the fitness channel with the girl who does fitness material has one day that she eats off meal. And okay, whatever, Abby. Apples to pineapples.
Fat Amberlynn eats like a normal meal or a small meal that's like salad, and she's basically given death threats.
Amber has never mukbanged a salad. No, okay. Amber's eaten salad on camera. I remember the salad era. Amber has never mukbanged a salad, as far as I can recall. I might be wrong. Correct me. And not a single one of these that she's putting up here, not a single one of these cherry-picked comments is a death threat. The worst up here is, I can't even read that one. It's so small. Girl, I'm surprised you haven't eaten your fingers. Okay. Unless Abby's tracking you're eating yourself to death as a death threat. Which, okay, that just proves to me that you're so far into FA and haze, you can't even see anymore. You don't even know what reality looks like these days. Anyway.
It's up. And if you don't see that it's up, you are part of the problem. So
hey, Abby, have you looked in a mirror lately? Just saying. We're never making it through this video.
Sorry for the tough love, but yeah, it's bad. And I feel for her on that one.
Wow, this is like making me realize that I only ever eat out of emotional hunger. I've always thought of my weight as a symptom of something else, and it's most definitely a symptom of my binge eating, which then, in fact, in my opinion, is a symptom of something even higher.
I'm going to talk about this shortly when we look at some of her recent meals. And also, I don't know Amberlynn personally or professionally, obviously. But generally speaking, yeah, like binge eating and resulting obesity is rarely a result of food just tasting really good or having a really big appetite.
My overarching point is the BED, though unhelpful in Amber's size, is not the reason Amber is so big. It's not helping, and it going untreated is definitely not helping. But it's not the only reason Amber's the size she is. Amber wants BED. Well, right now she doesn't, because now she's trying to convince us she doesn't have it. Amber wanted BED to be the excuse for why she was so big. Amber doesn't want to believe that her own actions have gotten her where she is. Amber wants something else to be the cause. And I don't doubt that she has BED, and I know that the scarfing down of so many calories in one sitting can be detrimental, but I don't for a minute believe the BED is the only reason Amber is as big as she is. And I think anybody with a brain and two eyes that function, even one eye that barely functions, would agree with Abby on this one. I don't know. I think it's fairly obvious, especially if you actually watch Amber. The majority of the meals that Amber shows herself eating for real are not meals that are conducive to weight loss, or the portion sizes are not good for weight loss. And if Abby had spent any actual time looking at Amber's actual meals and not just cherry picking crap, she would know that. But maybe she did. And Abby just needs this. She just needs the clicks.
I read these comments as a job. I feel like it's important that I do read the comments here and there, and they make me feel unworthy and like I'm not good enough of good things, and it just puts me in a really dark hole. I just want to be normal. I want to be normal. I want to be that person, and just knowing that I never will be is so hard to wrap my head around.
I know that a lot of people will call out Amberlynn as being a troll and that she's making herself sick and sabotaging herself for the sake of views and ad revenue on YouTube.
I know there's some people who will do that. I think Amber has legitimate issues, and I think she uses food to cope with them. That is a legitimate problem. The rest of that, I don't know if I buy into it completely on my end, but she's sure as fuck not helping herself.
But how can you watch someone crying here, wishing that they had a normal life, and not think to yourself, you know, wow, even if this is just 1% truth, this is heartbreaking. And I don't know.
The reason why we can do that with Amber and not be moved by it is because we've watched her do this exact thing for, at that point, 6 years. That's why. Because those of us who actually follow Amber know that this is an act. But you don't, Abby, because you don't do your research.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's take a look at some of Amberlynn's recent What I Know days at the time of filming, starting with some breakfast.
Again, this is like the one and only time Amber ate guacamole or had an avocado toast. Like literally this breakfast is so atypical. I can't recall it happening more than once, maybe twice. I really don't think it happened more than once.
So for my first meal, which is breakfast, I will be having 2 slices of turkey bacon, avocado toast. It's like an oat nut bread, which is so delicious. Obviously the avocado, an egg moment, and Cholula. You guys know me.
One of my main pieces of advice for Amberlynn from my previous review was to use my hunger crushing combo in meals.
Okay. You're so special, Abby. No one on the planet has ever come up with the concept of a balanced meal.
The bread. Some other examples of Amberlynn's breakfast include waffles with peanut butter or a bowl of packet oatmeal, each served with a side of turkey bacon. These meals do have some hunger-crushing compounds in the mix, but I do think that there's room to actually add more. The portions seem pretty small, especially that oatmeal bowl, which definitely wouldn't hold me for very.
Okay, I will give her that the single packet of oatmeal is not satiating because it's not satiating to me, which is why I add stuff to my oatmeal, which is what most people do. But you think Amber should be eating more prepackaged, preprocessed Eggo waffles with more peanut butter on them? You don't think the entire piece of avocado toast, the bread, by the way, is probably 140 calories with the avocado on top of it and the egg and then the 2 bacons. You think that's a small meal? That would fill me up. Okay, it's this shit. So you haven't changed. All right, cool. Keep going.
Very long, which suggests that there may be some metabolic suppression and blunted hunger and fullness cues at play. But nutrition-wise, these meals range from about 280.
What the hell does that even mean? Blunted hunger cues at play. You mean Amber doesn't know when she's hungry? No shit.
Calories to about 400, and they're all under 15 grams of protein. And we do know how important a protein-rich breakfast is for satiety and weight management if that's her goal.
We all know that. She's used that particular... That's like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen that exact study. Is that the only study you have on hand to show that protein-rich breakfasts are good for you? I'm just saying you should have more than one source for these kind of things. I don't doubt that a protein-rich meal is good for you. I just don't understand why you don't have more than one source. Amber goes through these phases where she eats microwave meals frequently, but again, these are not the most typical eating patterns for Amber.
So in the chicken biryani example,
Also, was this while she was doing the dietitian's diet? where she was supposed to be eating the frozen meals according to her dietitian. You know, the one with the super deadly diet that had way more sodium in it than Amber thought she should have, even though she eats nothing but processed foods.
We've got some protein from the chicken, we've got carbs from the rice, maybe there's a bit of fat in there in the sauce, but generally, like
maybe
most TV dinners, we're looking at a meal that is low in volume, so it's also low in fiber and vegetables, and because it is quite small, this is again some evidence that there may be some metabolic and hunger cue damage going on. But
what the hell does that even mean, Abby? Because the portion size of the microwave meal is small, ergo, Amber has metabolic blunting. There's damage to Amber's metabolic stuff because the microwave meal is small. What does the size of the microwave meal have to do with Amber's body size or her satiation cues or her ability to know when she's full? You don't know if she ate another one after that. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet you don't know squat about what she actually eats. Was the day that she ate the can of green, that was the entire can of green beans, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing out. That was the entire can of green beans that she ate, plus the frozen meal. Was that too small of a portion for you? Like, is that blunted satiation cues? What do you even mean by that?
love that she bulked this meal up with some green beans on the side.
Okay.
And I would love to see her utilize that same technique anytime she opts for one of these frozen convenience meals. Sodium is known as a risk factor for hypertension in some populations, and it may also contribute to unwanted water retention, which could throw off any potential weight loss progress on the scale. So in this case,
So for Abby, losing water weight is the same as losing fat weight. And both of them are requiring quotation marks, so neither of them are real. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Chicken biryani lunch provides almost half of Amberlynn's daily sodium recommendations for the day and only 6% of her fiber. So if you want to use canned vegetables like she did, just make sure you're going for a no salt added variety. Or one thing that I always do is I would just add in like a bowl of frozen vegetables into the microwave while her meal is cooking. And then you can just kind of mix them all together into the residual sauce.
How are you going? I mean, this is just me really nitpicking here. I'm going to put the frozen vegetables in the microwave while I'm microwaving the microwave meal. Okay. I mean, I know you can. It just was a very stupid statement.
All right, let's move on to Amberlynn's snacks.
I love green olives and black olives, but I'm about to have large olives. So that is what I've been snacking on, is having a few pickles. I prefer the baby pickles. They're literally the best texture ever.
How many times have we seen Amber snack on chocolate covered nuts, giant bags of nuts, pretzels? What else does she routinely eat? Candy in general. How many times do we, I mean, yeah, she eats the black olives a lot. She eats the pickles a lot. I forget what the last one was. I got distracted. I'm not saying these aren't snacks that Amber, oh, the beef jerky. These are things Amber eats. Yes. I'm not saying they're not, but they're also not the only thing Amber snacks on. Like, these are probably some of the healthiest snacks that Abby could have found, I suppose, because Amber snacks are not healthy. But also Abby, honey, child, sweetie. Amber doesn't snack. Amber is adamant that she doesn't snack, okay? Anyway.
They may have fewer calories and fat than chips, depending on the portion. They often also contain even more sodium per serving than like lightly salted chips. But rather than taking any of these salty snacks away, we can give them my hunger crushing combo treatment by...
Is she selling something? Is that why this keeps popping up? This branding crap? I don't know. I really haven't watched her in several years now. Well, at least 2. So
pairing them with a handful of unsalted nuts or seeds. This will not only provide some protein and some healthy fats for increased satiety, but they're also a great source of potassium.
All right. As I said earlier, and if you watched Amber for any length of time, you would know she eats the crap out of nuts and seeds. Granted, they're salted. So but she eats nuts, okay? She likes them candy coated, but she still eats them.
Which, as I mentioned earlier, will help to balance some of the excess sodium content. Now, for a sweet fix, Amberlynn reaches for pineapple or some chocolate Greek yogurt bite. Now, these are
or the entire chocolate Greek covered bar, or Ben and Jerry's, or what else does she eat? Or cookie dough, or edible brownie batter, or peanut butter cups, or whole candy bars. Nothing wrong with a candy bar. Okay, you know what I mean. Or the mini snack candy bars, or I can keep going, or an entire bag of Chips Ahoy, or Oreos, or cereal. Okay. These are not things that Amber eats. The fruit kind of is, but they're also not the only thing Amber eats, and you're being disingenuous. I guess that's what I'm harping on here. She's being disingenuous. She's picking the things that look the healthiest that Amber eats, like the fruit, like the yogurt bites, and making it sound like these are the only things Amber snacks on. They are not. Okay? These are, yes, things that Amber has eaten, but they are not typical or the thing she eats regularly. Okay? So again, Abby's cherry picking and did do her research and chose not to acknowledge any of it, or hasn't done her research again.
great lower calorie options. But again, we can bump up their staying power by pairing them with a bowl of cottage cheese or Greek yogurt for some protein and fat.
And why are you recommending whole freaking meals calorically for Amber? Like, pair your dessert snacks with cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. There's like, yeah, okay, anyway. I don't know why I keep stopping.
Lastly, let's move on to dinner.
Guys, so right now I'm cooking some chicken because I'm having a chicken salad tonight. All right, so here's my salad. We have some kale, sunflower seeds, the chicken, and this is like a poppy dressing moment.
Okay, so as a dinner one night, Amberlynn does a pre-made kale salad mix with some chicken. So
By the way, I buy those pre-made salad mixes things, and I like them a lot. They're great for lunch because they're convenient, and it's salad. And as long as you don't use the entire thing of dressing, they're very low cal. So if you give a crap, but this is Amber's salad era, which didn't last very long. So again, atypical eating that we're putting forward as typical eating.
So here we've got some protein in the chicken, fat in the seeds and dressing, and some fiber in the Greek. Now, if this is enjoyable and satiating to Amberlynn, great. But
What have you got against salad, Abby? She is not happy that Amber's eating salad.
a lot of folks who struggle with binge eating or overeating episodes find that these low-carb meals often leave them physically and or psychologically unsatisfied, which in turn triggers a binge. So I would love to see some carbs in the mix. So maybe adding in some pre-cooked quinoa or sweet potato, or stuffing it into a whole grain pita. Now,
So first off, I hate having quinoa added, cold or hot, added to my salads. It's just like the texture is appalling. I know some people really like it because it's a big thing at Sweet Green, but not me. Sweet potato diced up and put in there. Okay, I could see that, especially with the salad dressing. But then take the salad and stuff it into a pita. Yeah, okay. I mean, sure, I guess. Since you're desperate to put carbs into this meal because you're apparently dying inside that there's no freaking carbs in the salad, completely ignoring the carb and caloric content of the salad dressing. Okay. Okay.
Now, on other nights, Amberlynn does a Chick-fil-A chicken lettuce wrap with a little sriracha mayo for dipping, or a bowl of turkey meatballs with rice and steamed broccoli.
She also does a full ass kebab and a side of rice, and what are some of the other things she's eaten? Several rolls of sushi plus stir fry. What else has she ordered? Oh, an entire plate of orange chicken and broccoli with a large serving of rice. from a restaurant. What else has she eaten recently? This Mediterranean meal that she was eating, which was potatoes, rice, pita bread, and chicken with some broccoli, or an entire seafood boil. Going through my mental stocks here. Jimmy John's, McDonald's, Panera Bread, burgers from Five Guys. You know, it's, yeah, okay. Sure, Abby, all she ever eats, what her typical dinner looks like, is either a salad with some chicken on it, a chicken wrap ranch, a chicken wrap, or homemade pasta and meatballs with a side of vegetables. Sure, that's what Amber typically eats. That's how Amber eats normally. Yep. All right.
Love these meals. I mean, we aren't skimping on comfort or flavor or protein or carbs, and we got a little veggie action in the mix. So if we keep this general formula in our head, you know, we want to get some protein and some fat with some kind of meat and fish or poultry or vegetarian protein. We want to make sure we're getting some carbs with like noodles, rice, potatoes, bread, or quinoa, and then any vegetables that you like. I think we'll find ourselves better able to get to bedtime without overwhelming night cravings. Now, with all that said, what are my overall thoughts on Amberlynn's diet? So I would say that we're seeing some mild improvements from my last assessment,
which was glowing, so keep going.
Namely, more meal consistency and some generally balanced meals. But as I said in my previous review, I still feel that she's under eating. I know.
Oh shit, really? You seriously said that with a straight face?
Mild improvements from my last assessment, namely more meal consistency and some generally balanced meals. But as I said in my previous review, I still feel that she's under eating. I know everyone sees a person in a larger body and assumes that they must be eating like 5,000 calories a day.
We assume that about Amber because people have counted calories for Amber on her actual what I eats in a day and have come up to 5,000 to 6,000 calories in a day. That's why we think Amber eats that many calories in a day. You guys, you just have to understand, there are a lot of calories in air. And if you're not breathing properly, like if you don't have the right breath fat filter, air fat filter, you're just going to inhale fat, and it's just gonna, it's the wrong kind of fat on top of it. So it's just gonna settle on you. Also, if you ever go any place and anyone ever says anything mean to you, it's the mean words are actually just like vaporized fat. So whenever someone says anything mean to you, those vaporized fat particles just like adhere to you and you just absorb them through your skin. And there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you can eat healthy, you can exercise, you can be a healthy, active person and just, you know, not breathing properly, you're just inhaling air fat and having mean fat words shouted at you is enough to make you obese. It has nothing to do with what you eat.
But often, as we can see here, that isn't actually the case.
Abby, you are lying. You are not even cherry picking at this point. You are just flat out lying. You curated these what I eats in a days from this video and from the prior video, made it look as clean as possible, and then said, oh, she needs to eat more. The 600-pound woman who eats somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000 calories in a day, she needs to eat more in a day. That'll fix the problem. You are lying. These are atypical days for Amber. All of them are atypical. Okay? The only thing that you got right are the snacks and the desserts. And even then, you cherry picked from the snacks and desserts that she shared to find the ones that look the most healthy and completely ignored everything else. You've never once mentioned the gallons of soda that she drinks, the gallons of sweetened tea that she drinks from Starbucks and what is it? Sonic, because she likes Sonic's ice. You've never once mentioned the liquid calories that she consumes, the sugar that she eats. You address the salt because you couldn't get away from it because of the snacks that you chose to show. Like, this is so blatantly biased and set up in a way to make Amber look good because you just cannot not push FA and Hayes rhetoric to the point where you can't even do an honest review of a person who has at this point 9 years of her eating on camera. You can't even be bothered to do a halfway decent review of it because it would go against everything your FA Hayes intuitive eating BS says. You just, okay. You're just lying. Straight on at the camera, like flat at the camera, without a mix, with a straight face.
It looks to me like Amberlynn is eating as little as 1,200 calories a day with just not enough protein, fiber, calcium, iron, potassium, or other important nutrients. And
Are you serious? Yeah, I guess if you only look at the meals that you cherry picked, yeah, I guess she's only eating 12,000 calories a day. I'm doing the mental math in my head of the things that she actually showed Amber eating. And it's even my shitty math has it being more like 15 to 1,700 calories a day. That's my crappy math, though. If somebody wants to go and do an actual breakdown of it, feel free. But 1,200 calories a day? Really, Abby? She's 600 pounds because she eats 1,200 calories a day. Really, Abby?
potassium piece is again so critical when sodium intake is higher like it is here. And despite not being a lot of food, Amberlynn doesn't really seem to be fazed by this, likely because of some metabolic and hunger cue disruption. Now, I spoke to my colleague, Alessandra.
Okay, that's why she's fat, you guys, because she's got metabolic disruption and blunted hunger cues. I don't think Amber knows what hunger feels like, hasn't known what hunger feels like for a long time. Jesus criminy Jehozy fat.
Magisano, who specializes in eating disorders like BED, and while she suggested we generally don't recommend weight loss in eating disorder treatment, she said that it can be very carefully done in certain situations, but it would require a very skilled clinical team to be done safely. Now,
okay, that's probably the first real thing Abby said that I agree with, because, and the only reason I agree with it is because it's the exact freaking same thing Amber was told when she went to the weight loss, when she went to the eating disorder clinic, the outpatient treatment that she was getting. This is exactly what the outpatient people told her. And that's the only reason I believe the words coming out of Abby's mouth right now is because Amber backs you up. What does that tell you?
And of course, I want to acknowledge that Amberlynn is slowly making some headway here by no longer relying on crash diets for quick weight loss. But when her...
So you weren't here for Ozempic, not Ozempic, Octopus. God, what was the name of that stuff? So you weren't here for that. Optivia. You weren't here for Optivia. No, wait, Optivia is the weight loss drug. Crap. Okay, so you weren't here for the weight loss doctor who put her on a diet of roughly 12,000 calories, which was high in fiber, high in protein, just low in carbs. You weren't here for the packet meals that she was eating, that the name of it I can't remember of anymore because I keep thinking Optivia and that's not it. You weren't here for Optivia, the Optivia injections. You weren't here for the mustard and cottage cheese diet, which granted that was just this year. So, and this is a year old. So no, you really weren't here for that. What else did she do in the past year that was very much crash diety? Yeah, the one with the feelings. It's just, okay, so you're just ignoring the actual crash diets that she went on and the one doctor recommended diet that she went on. You're ignoring that. Oh my God. Wow. But you guys, Amber's gotten better. She's not doing the crash diets anymore, you guys. She needs to eat more. She needs to eat more because she's only eating 1,200 calories in a day, you guys. It's a mystery. It's a mystery of life how Amber could possibly be as heavy as she is, only eating 1,200 calories in a day. How weird. How weird. It's almost as if physics doesn't apply to obese people. It's like somehow when you've gone over a certain weight, physics just goes, and moves on with life. And it's just like, you know what, you do your own thing. And I'm going to go over here. And suddenly physics leaves the chat.
Her knee-jerk reaction is to restrict further when she doesn't hit her monthly weight loss targets. We do continue to see that deep-seated diet mentality emerge. And
she doesn't restrict further. She gives up. If you paid attention, you would know that. If Amber doesn't hit her weight loss goals, she gets discouraged and she quits. There's a Amberlynn cycle for a reason, which doesn't take that long to find. I can Google it right now, and it would be probably the first thing that pops up.
And again, while I really do empathize with Amberlynn's strong desire to lose weight to improve her quality of life and her mobility and overall health, I think it's really important to be working with an eating disorder team on a safe and supportive strategy.
Okay, that again is one of the only things in this entire video that I think I agree with Abby on. Amber needs help and she needs to be supervised in that help. Amber can't do it on her own, and we all know that because we watch Amber. Abby. But, you know, thanks for saying it in a video.
A strategy that doesn't risk long-term metabolic health issues, malnutrition, or sustained disordered eating tendencies.
Malnutrition. And the disordered eating tendencies that she's harping on about is not eating enough. Okay, we're almost done. We can do this.
So some gentle nutrition tips for someone like Amberlynn might look like A, making sure that meals are consistently balanced and we're adding protein to breakfast and snacks, some veggies to lunch, and some carbs to dinner. B, focusing on variety and diversity, which will also help to balance out some of the excess sodium from some of the convenience type meals. And C, increasing portion sizes over time until we start to feel hunger and fullness cues emerge.
The first two are probably decent information. You know, when Amber eats 2 cups of cooked pasta in one sitting, or eats a meal meant for a family by herself, really what she needs to do there is increase her portion size. I am almost done.
So while these recommendations do not explicitly focus on weight loss, over time, they may potentially encourage weight loss in a more sustainable and supportive way without the scarcity mentality. And on that note, that is all that I have for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure.
Thank God. All right. Hello. You haven't appeared in this video. Hi. I haven't jumped up on the counter in like a whole half hour. All right, final thoughts. And I got to do this quick because I've been recording for like 4 hours at this point. Abby clearly doesn't know who Amber is. Abby clearly hasn't watched anything that Amber's put out. Abby really only made this video because she felt bad that she hurt Amber's feelings and that made her look bad because it did make her look bad. So Abby had to get on and make a video about how sorry she is that she hurt Amber's feelings, and woe is Abby for being mean to somebody on the internet. Mind you, I don't think I've... Anyway. So we have her influencer apology for upsetting Amber. We have her crying on camera because she feels so bad about it, you guys. We have her telling us that the only reason Amber is fat is because Amber gets picked on and bullied. Comparing Amber's few mukbangs and choosing only the healthy mukbangs, by the way, comparing those to another YouTube channel called Always Hungry, who is a body, not necessarily body build. I'm just going off of what I saw on her channel. She's clearly someone who's very much into fitness and has a well-developed muscular structure in her socially desirable body, who eats 3,000 calories in a day because that's how many calories she needs to maintain her physique as someone who lifts weights and is active and is healthy. Comparing that to Amber, who eats somewhere between 3,000 to 6,000 calories in a day because that's the only way you maintain that much weight. Abby is comparing apples to pineapples. The word apple is in there. What else have we done? We have then gone over more recent videos of Amber's eating habits, which again are cherry picked. Seriously. Then we tell her that she needs to eat more food because according to Abby, Amber's only eating 1,200 calories in a day, you guys, and that's why she has the BED episodes. Okay. Only pointing out the healthy looking snacks, harping on about sodium because we have to, because the snacks you chose to show us are the high sodium snacks that she eats, because you couldn't show us the high sugar ones. Is there a single clip in here of Amber eating actual sugar? Yeah, the desserts. Yeah, the little yogurt bites with the desserts and whatever the other thing is. That is the only time in this entire video that Abby has shown Amber eating sugar. She didn't mention any of the drinks Amber buys, those big giant like bathtub sized drinks that Amber buys. She doesn't mention all the cookies and all the candy and all the ice cream that Amber eats. Like, it's just conveniently not there. It's like Amber never eats sugar. Abby, you are lying. You lied. You are a lying liar who lies. Okay? At this point, do I even believe that your feelings were actually hurt, that you slapped Amber across the face as many times as humanly possible in your first video with the cancer diagnosis? No, actually. At this point, I think you just wanted some more clicks, because as of right now, there's 283K views on this video. This video has 8.K likes. That's like twice what Amber's video reacting to Abby has. Okay? This was clickbait. And Abby just gave like the worst possible advice. I'm over it. All right. Anyway, this is the last one in the series. I just wanted to see the comparison between Abby's first video, Amber's reaction, and Abby's reaction to Amber's reaction. I just wanted to put it all in one place so everybody could see it, because it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. If you've made it this far in the video, put a crying emoji in the comments section, because we feel bad for Abby, that Abby feels bad that she hurt somebody's feelings, even though she intentionally did that. So let's all just join Abby in her self-pity and put a crying emoji down in the comments section. Feel free to leave a comment as well. That's fine. Thank you to everybody who supports this channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Ding, ding. And again, don't forget to put the crying emoji, leave an actual comment. And this is your final warning to leave a thumbs up. Warning, reminder to leave a thumbs up. Ding, ding. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.